Welcome to another live episode of the Wisco Fanatic Show, where we discuss the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers football, and basketball from an optimistic perspective. Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Tuesday night. We are live without Bryant this week. Bryant is a little under the weather, but Simon, myself, Jake are here. I'm just going to give everybody a heads up. I will not be here next week, Tuesday. My wife's having surgery next Wednesday, so I'm going to be helping her prepare for that. So I won't be here next Tuesday or Wednesday, but I will relay that tomorrow as well for next week. But just so everybody knows that if the Lions lose, it's not like, or the Lions beat the Packers, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing the show this week because I don't want to talk about a loss. Just giving that information for next week. But this week,
next week losers.
Yeah, we do have myself, Jake, and Simon. So we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start on the defense like we normally do, and we're going to start with Jake and the pass rush.
Pass rush. What a topic to talk about this year. I didn't think it was going to be so polarizing every other week, where 1 week we sacked the quarterback 5 times. We look like the greatest pass rush in NFL history. And then next week we get 1 sack, and it's from our middle linebacker. But to his credit, Cooper, by the way, he is tied for first on the team with 3 sacks with Wyatt and Smith. So he's been really good at those A-gap pressures. Hafley's been really, really good at kind of disguising looks. He had a play against the Texans where he showed double A-gap blitz, and he dropped the 2 middle linebackers out, and McKinney ends up coming off the edge and getting a sack. So he's done a nice job mixing it up. But Cooper, another sack. Again, tied for the team lead with 3. Hurries, Brooks and Gary had 2 apiece. Gary leads the team, or is second on the team in that category. Kenny Clark is first in the team in that category. Devontae Wyatt, welcome back. Not only did he have a hurry, but he had a big-time fumble recovery, which Tyler will talk about, but he absolutely laid that lineman out, dude. Laid that guy out. I was like, oh, my God. That was almost the hardest hit in the whole game, in my opinion, was 2 linemen diving for a football. Then you get the hits. We had 4 of them. Van Ness and Smith both got their first quarterback hits of the year, which sounds insane, but that's their first quarterback hits of the year. Not sacks, not hurries, their first quarterback hits. Enagbare, he got his second quarterback hit, and Gary got another one. He leads the team with 4 quarterback hits. So it's almost like the quarterbacks are just getting around the ball. I mean, really, really hits. Quarterbacks don't get hit too much unless it's really just a sack, because the rule changes, right? People have to take that shit into consideration. Guys don't want to get flagged for late hits or roughing the passer. So quarterback hits are kind of a stat that lived and died in the early 2000s. And it's not as big anymore because you're not allowed to really touch the quarterback. I mean, there's a whole debacle on people that pull up and don't even hit Mahomes and allow him to go 15 extra yards on the sideline. So, I mean, quarterbacks are protected more in this era than they were in other eras. So, just wanted to point out there's 11 players now in the Packers who have a quarterback hit. So even though there may be a low total from the leader, there's a lot of players that are producing in that specific stat. So I think it's a good thing.
So as we transition into the defensive line here, I'm going to reiterate something I've said. Brian said, hello, you beautiful people. Sorry I couldn't make it. I'm as sick as unrealistic Bears fans were late Sunday evening. That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. I got to admit, it's almost as sick as me enjoying so much of the compilation videos of Bears fans reacting to that.
Can I tell my story about my work buddy? Can I tell my story, Tyler? I just told you. Simon, you got to hear this, dude. Right. So we always give each other shit. His name's Rob. Rob's a really nice guy. Rob, if you watch this later, I think you're a nice guy. But, we always kind of give each other shit, rub elbows a little bit. Hey, Packers suck. Hey, Bears suck, that kind of thing. But we're respectful with it, right? Well, I go into work on Monday morning. I'm going to put my lunchbox in the fridge. I close the fridge. Oh, my God, he pops up, right? He's handing me a piece of apple pie cake, right? I'm like, what's this? He tells me apple pie cake. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. He's like, my wife made it. It was my birthday yesterday. The Bears lost on a Hail Mary on his fucking birthday, dude.
Oof.
Oh, my God, dude. I was gonna talk shit going into work, but then I was having a second thoughts like, man, I'll just be nice. That's a shitty way to lose. And then he tells me it was his freaking birthday. Oh my god, I felt bad for the guy.
Did you make a joke anyways?
I didn't say shit. I was like,
oh, I would have said something anyway.
No,
I said, I'm like, how did you like the present that Jaden Daniels unwrapped for you?
Just a little bit of ribbing, Not, I would have done it. I would have fucking done it.
If you're like, well, at least your next birthday probably can't be worse.
Can't get worse than that, bro.
All right. Jumping into the D-line, something I've said a bunch of times this year, something we've covered in a lot of play breakdowns, which we will continue to do so. There is more to pass rush than just sacks. We've shown plays where certain players do things that then make it easier for other players to get sacks. We've talked about guys like Rashawn Gary getting held around the neck by Rob Havenstein. We've talked about a lot of the contextual things that go with pass rushes, and we will continue to do so. I guarantee we're going to have plays this week where the pass rush was affecting things that ultimately did still help make winning plays for the Packers. Mm-hmm. Steve said just another Sunday as a long-suffering Bears fan, though. Yeah, that's snatching a defeat from the jaws of victory right there, though. You got to love that. On the defensive line, the D-line didn't have any sacks. Trevor Lawrence moved the ball pretty well. He got rid of the ball very well, and he himself, he's an athlete. He's not a guy that is known for running, but he's still very athletic. I'll say that. So the Packers total only had 10 pressures. 9 of them did come from the defensive line. Colby Wooden had a bat down at the line of scrimmage, and the defensive line, out of the 15 tackles that the Packers missed, which I will talk about in Brian's notes, only 2 were missed by the D-line. So overall, the D-line, they did okay, in my opinion. So going into the linebackers and tackling, I'm going to pull Bryant's notes up here. Bryant's notes on the Packers versus Jaguars. I think he meant to write Jaguars. In his sickness.
Is it a Q?
Festive. Jack-o'-lantern, Jaguars.
Is it a Q?
It's Jaguars.
I get it. Like the Q and the G, it's backwards,
Yeah.
They're pretty far away on the keyboard.
They're not close on the keyboard, though. I'll blame it on the sickness. His notes on the linebackers were, as a group, they had a pretty solid game. Cooper continues to flash. Still surprised he had the least amount of snaps in the group, likely due to his spotty performance in the run game. However, it's getting to the point where you accept the rookie mistakes to a certain degree because of the impact he has. He had a run stop that resulted in a punt, another third down stop to force a fourth down try, the strip sack, and the huge breakup against Kirk. Cooper and Wilson were actually the top-rated defenders by PFF. Wilson had a solid game in the run and the pass. He needs a high amount of snaps when Quay is healthy. Whether those come from Quay or McDuffie, I don't know. But Wilson has proved he needs to be on the field. The linebackers did account for 5 missed tackles out of the 15 that the team had. That needs to be cleaned up against Detroit. So I'm going to say some similar things on that subject. North Dakota education.
I thought that was
We'll get you in a keyboarding class next summer. Justin, welcome back. Okay, so going from linebackers to tackling, Jake, how did they do on 3rd and 4th down?
All right, so I don't know if you could start better than holding your opponent to 0 for 8 on 3rd downs. They ended the game 1 for 9. They converted their last 3rd down. They started 0 for 8.
Damn.
I was literally going through it because I have to go through every single play and read every single 3rd down and how they didn't get it or how they did get it, right? And I'm going through and I'm like, nope. I got the 6 and I was like, is this a fucking lie? Do I have to go back to the top? What am I doing right now? Yeah, 0 for 8. 0 for 3 in the 3rd and short area. 1 for 4 in the 3rd medium area. That was the one that they picked up on the final drive. Yeah, they threw a pass to their backup tight end Strange for 21. We also forced a fumble on a 3rd medium. Wyatt I still can't get over it. I can still see that image in my head of him absolutely demolishing a person. 3rd and long, they were 0 for 2. 4th down, they did pick up 1. They picked up a 4th down before they picked up a 3rd down. They were 0 for 5 on 3rd down at that point and still picked up a 4th down before they picked up a 3rd down. It was a run by Trevor Lawrence. But anyways, 1 for 9 on the day. You can't really complain too much.
Brian said the defense was like the drawing of the horse that gets progressively worse. Justin said, I was a little depressed that Wilson didn't play like he did the game before, but we got to temper expectations at times. You got to remember he's still kind of like a backup / rotational linebacker. So like he's not going to have games like he did against the Texans every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Just be happy when he does have that level of game, and then hope that he's continuing to be solid since or after that. Steve said the third down defense has been stellar over the past couple weeks, if not more.
They've been really good this year. I have zero complaints. They've done a really nice job holding teams down in distances and getting them off the field.
Yeah. Simon, how did you feel about the secondary?
I thought they were kind of I don't know. It wasn't probably maybe as bad as people think it was until like near the end of the game. And they kind of allowed some big completions to like Evan Ingram in the end zone over Keyshawn Nixon. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, that was a good play by Evan Ingram. I think
that's literally his best skill is being big.
Yeah, he's just bigger than Nixon and can jump higher. McKinney came down with an interception, but honestly, that was probably maybe his worst game of the season, in my opinion. He allowed 4 for 4 for 84 yards. Jair ended up with a pretty solid day, though. He allowed one catch for 3 yards, or I'm sorry, one catch out of 3 targets for 2 yards, and he had a pass breakup. Bullard's kind of struggling in coverage this year a little bit, allowing 4 for 5 for 63 yards and a touchdown. Keyshawn Nixon 3 for 3 for 23 yards and a touchdown. Eric Stokes allowed a couple for 43 yards, and Evan Williams obviously went out with that injury, but he allowed one catch for 7 yards before he went out for the game. So I don't know. To me, it was like it started off strong, and then, like Brian said, kind of progressively worse throughout the game.
Alrighty, Jake, how did they do in the red zone?
Not good. Allowed 3 for 3. First play, we start at the 16. They had the ball at the 16. Bigsby went up the middle for 14 yards. They have first and goal at the 2. Bigsby goes up the middle for 1 yard. Second and goal at the 1. There was an illegal formation. And then Trevor Lawrence runs the ball in for a touchdown. Then you get to the next one. There was a big pass play to Kirk for 26 yards that set this up into the red zone. They had first and 10 at the 19. They hand it off for 5, get to the 14. They have second and 5 at the 14, and Lawrence finds Thomas for a touchdown. And that play, that just looked like a broken coverage, in my opinion. Then you get to the final drive. They had 3 big plays of 15, 20, and 21 yards. I know that Brian just put a comment in here talking about, have you seen the drawing of the horse? It progressively gets worse. That was our defense on Sunday. I think we got a little bit too lackadaisical with the play calling, a little bit too soft. And then all of a sudden it got to an oh shit moment, and the Jaguars already had a lot of momentum going into that. So you get first and 10 at the 14. Lawrence is incomplete. And you have second and 10 at the 14, and they go into a bunch set with who the heck was on the top? Forgot. He caught it on Nixon. But anyway, Evan Ingram. I looked at that play before it happened, and I was like, dude, this ball's going to Ingram. 100% is going to Ingram. I saw Nixon come down, and I was like, they're not throwing it to anybody else in this situation. And I just wish McKinney would have been over the top a little bit more, in my opinion. But other than that, they got to clean some stuff up in the red zone, because I don't want to steal your thunder, but the Packers going 2 for 6 on offense in the red zone, and them going 3 for 3 is not a great look for us.
Settle down.
Sorry.
Because they're going to have different conversations there. Jim said the food looks good. We'll cut Simon a little bit of slack just because he's in the Army and doing schooling at the same time. So we'll cut him a little bit of slack. But if I hear you chew one time, you're fired.
No, I already stopped eating the chips, so we're good.
Steve asked the question, is Evan Williams' health this important? Seems like he's the glue that holds the defense together. Bullard needs to be in the slot. I don't know if I'd go so far as to be like Evan Williams is the glue that holds the defense together. I will say when you go into a game expecting to have, all your players available, and then early in the game that quickly changes, that I think is what kind of throws a wrench in the plan. Now, if the Packers were to say, and this isn't anything that I'm planning on, but if Evan Williams were to say miss next week, and Bullard were able to prepare the whole week as the safety, then I wouldn't have quite as much concern. But when you have to kind of jockey stuff around in the middle of a game due to an injury, that's usually tends to be where the opponent then will target your defense or target your offense. Like if you lose an offensive lineman in the middle of the game, you can bet that they're sending a pass rush with the backup. Like that to me was more of a game specific thing. Now, I'm not saying the Packers don't need Evan Williams, but I also don't want to say like Evan Williams is what holds our defense together.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at Bryant's notes on special teams, Bryant said a perfectly nondescript performance by the special teams, exactly how we want it. Good job by McManus for hitting the give me winner, the game winner, I'm assuming is what's supposed to say there. and good job by Orzik for snapping it back more clean than last week. Solid performance by Whelan again, 3 of 5 punts inside the 20. On the coaching aspect of things, looking at the first quarter, there were 3 penalties on the offensive line on 3 different offensive linemen in the first quarter between Butkus and Stenovich. They got to clean that up. What I will say, however, after that, only 1 more penalty for the rest of the game. And after that, none of them were in the second half. No penalties in the second half, and the defense did not have a single penalty the entire day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we take those.
That's pretty good there. I think as far as, lost the challenge, it is what it is. Looking at some of the play calling aspects, and I'm going to cover this a little bit with the red zone too, but being at the 20-yard line on a 3rd and 7, and they call a play for the end zone, I personally didn't like that play call. I understood why in that first possession or the first down, when they got to the 20-yard line, they went to the end zone because Romeo Doubs was hot. So I understand taking a shot to Romeo Doubs on first down.
I agree.
3rd and 7, that to me, I was like, all right, let's get the first down, and then we can, keep going at the end zone.
Yep.
That's just how I felt about that specific red zone possession. Other than that, the last thing that I want to mention on the coaching aspect, Matt LaFleur was asked about this, the play to Jaden Reed that set up the game-winning field goal. That was not a play that they had installed in their game plan during the week. They came up with that one like game day. They basically drew it up as something that they had talked about but didn't have in their game plan. And the coaches and the players identified like, hey, this could work. And they put it in. I don't know when, if they put it in at halftime or if they put it in like going into that series or what. But Malik Willis checked to that play and they ran it. And obviously Jaden Reed got a 50-yard gain out of it. So that's credit to coaching. That's good stuff to notice that, to call it, and to have it ready. So I wanted to give them credit for that. All right, let's switch to the offensive side of the ball. Simon, how did you feel about the tight ends?
Yeah, Tucker Kraft is still an absolute monster. I actually wrote that in mine. Oh, you read my notes.
I briefly saw them, but I didn't see that part, no. If you wrote that
Yak Monster. Yak Monster. So he had 59 snaps, and I thought he blocked really well in the run game. Came down for 3 catches on 3 targets for 78 yards, and he had 49 yards after the catch.
Dude, he might be a top 5 tight end in the league, and I'm being serious.
I mean, he's working his way there.
Yes.
He's top 10 for sure.
Oh,
if you consider blocking and receiving in one thing, he's top 10 for sure.
He's definitely.
Yeah, he looks good. And then he had that touchdown after the Trevor Lawrence fumble on a wide open play. I didn't get to go back and relook at that play, but I don't understand how he was like Josh.
One guy on the field looking at him.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way he's that wide. Hey, get on him. I thought Ben Sims played 25 snaps, but I honestly don't remember him being on the field too much. I thought he struggled a little bit. I'll be honest with you. He didn't do really much of note. And then John Fitzpatrick had 6 offensive snaps as well.
There you go.
but he didn't really do anything.
Didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
don't remember him playing that many snaps either. But apparently he 14 run blocking snaps. I don't think there's no way he ran 11 routes.
I mean, he probably did, but
He did, from what I saw, if I remember right. He just didn't have a catch or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't targeted at all.
Yep.
Huh.
yeah.
All right. Well, good on him, I guess, for being a good distraction. Brian said, I know fantasy isn't king, but I think he's like third in tight end fantasy points. And that's what the nationwide judgment is going to be, is how recognizable he is in fantasy football. But
Yeah, Josh Jacobs still sucks.
Yep.
By the way.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to do the yards after contact on his too.
Oh, it's so good.
I already know what it
good.
is because I made a graphic out of it earlier, but I can't wait for you to talk about it again. Justin said, if I'm building a team from the ground up, I'm putting Kraft second only behind Kittle is who I want. And honestly, if you wanted to pick Tucker Kraft because he's young and hasn't had the injury, history that George Kittle has had, I wouldn't fight with you.
I'd probably put Laporta above Kraft, but
and I'd consider Brock Bowers also.
Brock Bowers
he looks like a stud, and he's got much worse
good
quarterback play than Tucker Kraft does.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he looks good. He definitely makes it look like the Raiders should not have picked the first tight end that they picked in the first round.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, Mayer?
Yeah, Mayer does not look great. Justin said his blocking is a huge factor in that decision. I don't know enough about Laporta and Bowers and their blocking, but
Laporta's a good blocker, dude. Laporta is...
He went to Iowa, so he's probably a good blocker.
He's a monster. He played the Big Ten. He's not afraid of contact, bro.
And Bowers went to Georgia, so he's probably good too. Okay, so going into Bryant's next segment, the wide receiver development. Bryant, his notes on the wide receivers say, solid game from the wide receivers that was marred by a few crucial drops. The one by Dobbs was a potential crusher because if he makes that catch, he had some room to run. And if we get in at least field goal range there, it puts even more stress on the Jags while running off more time. I like the target share and really like the production that Watson brought, getting first downs. Also, his block for the Jacobs run was a key play that won't show up on the stat sheet. That catch along the sidelines by Dobbs was sick. That play by Dobbs on the sideline, like that throw and catch, that one's going in the play breakdowns for sure this week, just so that we can talk about it more, because that was just an insane play.
Dude, his hands are insanity. Insanity.
I like that people are starting to catch on to what I've been saying, like all summer, was that Dobbs is the Packers' most complete wide receiver. He might not be the fastest, he might not be, the best route runner, but he is their most complete wide receiver, and he is the guy that I would go to in a situation where you need a catch because I trust him the most. And people are starting to catch on to that, and it's like, I'm pretty smart. People should listen to me.
He definitely has the best hands, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Looking at the passing game distribution, there were 10 players targeted. 8 players had receptions. Romeo Dobbs was targeted 6 times, had 3 catches. Watson was targeted 6 times, had 4 catches. Kraft was targeted 3 times. Kraft and Reed were targeted 3 times each. Kraft had 3 catches. Reed had 2. Dontavian Wicks was 2 for 2. And the other drop that was tough was the second series, the Jaden Reed drop on 3rd and 5. That's another one where the Packers offense started slow, and Jonathan Vilma's up in the booth getting to talk a bunch of shit about the Packers because apparently he hates the Packers every single time that he does a Packer game. And he's like, oh, I can't believe the Packers offense isn't doing anything. I can't believe they're not up 56-0 by now. It's only the first quarter. They're not winning 72-0. Like, bro, Vilma, just shut up.
I bet he has like a burner account on like that one Facebook group.
I will say we're probably not going to have a Jonathan Vilma game for a long time. I mean, we're the game of the week this week. We play the Bears. We're not getting Vilma for that game.
Yeah.
We're game of the week versus the 49ers. Then we play, on Thanksgiving night. We got a lot of primetime games coming up. We're not going to have Vilma anymore. So
thank God.
Yeah.
We have time.
You know what? I told you in the chat, like, I didn't think about it. I don't rarely listen to the people talking on the TV. Like, it doesn't swing me one way or another usually. But until you said something, I didn't notice how bad it was.
Neither did I kind of blocked that out too. I'm so focused on watching what's happening.
Yeah, same.
That I don't even hear what they're saying sometimes. Well, also my kids are very loud, but until Tyler really pointed it out, I was just kind of huh. Yeah, he is kind of being a douchebag. I agree.
Unless I'm watching like two teams that like I don't give a shit about, then I'll listen to a little more of the commentator stuff.
That's fair.
Justin said, I would like to see them get the ball to Reed and Dobbs more. I'm okay with the distribution, but I think those two are the playmakers and the ball is in their hands. Listen, it's 4 dudes.
Yeah.
It's 4 dudes. All 4 of them. And sure, Dobbs and Reed are playmakers of the ball in their hands. Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks are playmakers before the ball is in their hands. They can make plays before they get the ball.
I think Tucker Kraft's pretty good with the ball in his hands. I think Josh.
He's all right. All right. You know,
I think the distribution is okay. I do agree that maybe it should lean a little bit more towards those guys. If I had to pick, I'd lean a little bit more towards Reed, but he's small and I don't want him to get beat up. Plus, Dobbs is so good at one-on-one situation hand catches. But like Wicks is the guy in one-on-one situations. He's gonna dice you up, dude. So it's hard not to look his way in one-on-one situations.
And this is purely just this season so far, and it's honestly been a little bit more of a recent thing. Jaden Reed's struggling with some drops a little bit.
That last one was tough, bro. I understand hitting him in the hands. That was a tough catch.
Yeah.
Full dive, like that's tough.
I feel like PFF kind of grades harshly on drops too sometimes, and they recorded that one as a drop.
That's a tough catch, man.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think it was a catchable ball in my opinion.
Justin Wicks hasn't had a drop in 2 weeks, so
yeah,
I
agree.
And we knew that was his problem when he came into the league. That's why he was a 5th-round pick and Jaden Reed was a 2nd-round pick.
Yep.
But again, Dontavian Wicks, he can make plays before the ball is in his hands.
Yeah,
we broke down the play before the game. The very last series where the Packers were trying to get into field goal range, Dontavian Wicks was open. Jordan Love just needed a half a second more to be able to get some more into the throw. Dontavian Wicks was open. He turned the safety around completely.
Oh, yeah.
And Christian Watson, the Cardinals game is a perfect example. He can get past anybody.
Oh, yeah.
He makes fast players look slow. So they all have their playmaking ability. It's just, I think, like I said, Watson and Wicks, they can make plays before the ball is in their hands.
That's very true.
Okay. Going to the O-line, that is another one of Bryant's topics. Bryant's notes for the O-line says 2 many penalties, 4 of them, 3 accepted against the O-line. All came early, so they did clean it up. He said, however, I thought they did a better job run blocking and were still solid in pass blocking, only allowing 5 hurries and 6 pressures versus a few really good pass rushers. Jordan Morgan played really well in the snaps that he received. That battle/rotation continues to be pretty interesting. Yeah, they're splitting, I think it was 38-22. Ryan to Morgan, so they're splitting. Brian said, "I want him burning Arnold off the line. Arnold can be very handsy." That's a good call out. That's something definitely to keep an eye on. I hope you have that in your notes for things to keep an eye on for the offense. Simon, you have the floor for the most exciting segment of the week for the run game.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs hasn't really done a whole lot.
Yeah, he's overrated. I wish we still had Aaron Jones and his.
I don't know. I think he just hasn't done much or had the amount of touchdowns that we'd expect, and that's all Josh Jacobs' fault. Yep. Yeah, running backs are only as good as the amount of touchdowns they score. Yeah, for sure.
Touchdowns they help us set up or the pressure they take off of our pass.
But he, quite the opposite. But Josh Jacobs had an absolutely nasty game this week. This dude, and Tyler said it earlier, this dude had 98 yards after contact.
He had 127 total yards.
Yeah, 127
contact. That's so dumb.
He forced 8 missed tackles, had 6 first downs, and 2 touchdowns. He had a minuscule 1 catch for -2 yards, but we're not going to hold that against him.
Bro, 8 missed tackles force is wild.
Yeah, he's. I saw something earlier, and I meant to look it up. I saw that he was 2nd in the league after in yards after contact. Obviously behind Derrick Henry. He's having a phenomenal year.
Derrick Henry has 521. Josh Jacobs has 510. He's 11 yards behind Derrick Henry in yards after contact.
What?
And Derrick Henry has almost 300 more yards.
Yep.
Dude,
are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's having a gross year.
Henry had 946 rushing yards already.
Dude, that that jump cut that he put on that long touchdown.
Oh my god, dude, that was so sick.
I was
I'm
shook.
surprised there wasn't 2 groin injuries on Sunday because that dude got split open. Holy shit!
I was shook at he made the first guy miss, and then he did the jump. Then I was like,
I said, hold the phone,
dude. I was like, oh, like lost it. Totally lost it.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, and depending on Jordan Love's status this week, I think we'll see a lot more Josh Jacobs in the plan. I mean, just in general, anyways. Like Josh Jacobs is going to get 20 carries per game, or should in a solid game plan where we're not like way behind. He's going to get 20 carries a week, and I think this is one of the reasons that Goot went in a different direction than Aaron Jones as well. Is like Aaron Jones isn't necessarily built for like 20 plus carries a game on a week to week basis.
In the playoffs, maybe, but not in the regular season.
Yeah. So, but Josh Jacobs he's proven to be an absolute asset for this team this year.
Absolutely.
After that, Chris Brooks took 4 carries for 16 yards and made a really unselfish play at the end of the game where he could have had that touchdown.
Yep.
And he decided to go down and allow Packers to run off the clock, and Brandon McManus hit the game-winning field goal. So hats off to him.
Yep.
We love to see that.
Yep.
Emmanuel Wilson had a quiet day. He had 4 carries for 5 yards. They didn't really. This was the first week, and after Bryant said like the end arounds haven't really seemed to be working lately, they only tried one, and it went for 0 yards, and then tried another one for the rest of the game. Malik Willis, when he came in after Jordan Love went out, he ended up with 4 carries for 23 yards. So all in all, this team ran 39 times for 170 yards. The run game this year might be the best run game the Packers had in like the last 25-ish years.
Yeah. That's crazy. And we're missing
totality wise.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Not like one player, but Josh Jacobs he's on pace for like 1,400 yards right now.
Yeah, he's on pace for a really good year, dude.
Yeah. But, ESPN says he sucks, and a couple people on Facebook are mad that he only had 1 touchdown, whatever. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, we're going into week 9, and he's only got 3 touchdowns. He's only got 6 or 7 touchdowns.
What a bum.
He's also playing with the quarterback that was like first or second in passing touchdowns, so we're not going to score all the touchdowns.
Yeah, but he hasn't received all of those passing touchdowns, Jake.
Yeah.
My bad.
Apparently, like people just think like if you don't produce, you suck. Like that. Like if the numbers aren't on the stat sheet, like you suck.
Yeah. Well, and you're not doing really good in fantasy football because you don't score touchdowns all the time.
Yeah. Also, like I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things I could say.
Yeah.
Moving on. All right, moving on.
Justin said, will Lloyd be back this week? Bryant brought it up already. They haven't activated his window. My guess would be post-bye. I would also agree with that. Brian said Aaron Jones would have 1,401.
Maybe in 2 years.
Remember the guy that used to play the Dame Dillon for us?
I mean, Jones is having a solid year. That wasn't me trying to slight Jones at all. Like I love Aaron Jones, and I still like root for him outside of like Minnesota winning.
The shitty thing for me is like I get so pissed off at some of these fans that they keep bringing up like old players and like, oh, Aaron Jones would have did this. It almost makes me like start to hate the player, even though the player did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like I don't hate Aaron Jones at all. I love Aaron Jones. He was awesome to watch. But at the same time, I feel like I have to kind of talk shit about him because people are just comparing Josh Jacobs to Aaron Jones every week, and it's just ridiculous.
I think with a lot of these players that fans are attached to the ideal memory of them, not to what their actuality was when they were let go.
It's like BJ Raji.
Mason Crosby is a perfect example of that as well. Like Mason Crosby last year in Green Bay, he was having trouble making 45, 50-yard field goals.
Yeah, he was.
He was accurate, but he did not have leg to be kicking a 53-yard field goal at Lambeau in January.
I was gonna say freaking November, dude. Jesus, fuck January, November.
Darian said, I feel like this team is built to run the ball, and the run game is more effective when Malik Willis is out there at quarterback. I agree with the first half of your statement, and the second half of it, I will say I don't think it's more effective when Malik Willis is out there at quarterback. I think Malik Willis adds a running component at the quarterback position. So I don't think the run game as a whole gets better. I just think from the quarterback position, you are able to get more rushing.
Yeah. I think oh man, I wish I could go back and find it. There was like a stark difference between how Josh Jacobs performs in the first and second half. Okay, I found it. So this was before this game, so numbers might have changed. So in the first half of games going into the Jaguars game, Josh Jacobs has 64 carries for 275 yards at 4.3 yards per clip, 7 receptions, 45 yards at 6.4 yards a clip, which is good. Those numbers are actually pretty solid. Decent. Yeah, they're decent. 4.3 is where I start like saying anything less than that is kind of like, But the second half is really when he turns it on. So like second half, he had 56 carries, 265 yards. That's 4.7 yards a clip. And he also has 9 receptions for 72 yards at 8 yards a clip. So I don't know what it is. He goes and drinks Michael's secret stuff in the locker room at halftime or something. But he comes and outperforms himself in the first half, which is what we love to see.
The exact same archetype running back that's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the exact same way.
Get stronger.
A lot of 1, 2, 3 yard runs in the first half that turned into 5, 6, 7 yard runs in the second half.
I don't think he can replicate Derrick Henry's face when he breaks off a huge.
Bro, is that Derrick Henry's face when he runs, or is that the Dwayne Wade statue, dude?
Dude, that statue is so bad.
Yeah.
Bro,
not to get too far off topic, but that statue is so shit. That artist should
bad for D Wade, dude.
This part of the jawline that makes it look bad.
It looks
part
so bad.
Of the face is fine, but when you get out here, it's like no.
Yeah, dude. Never mind.
Anyways, Justin asked the question: can the Packers trade AJ Dillon? No, he will not be under contract next year. They had a 5th-year extension option with him this year, so he will be a free agent.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the 3rd and 4th down offense.
Yeah, 3 for 11. So that's not great. 1 for 1 on 3rd and short. 2 for 6 on 3rd and medium, and 0 for 4 on 3rd and longs. I do know that one of the drops, the 3rd and medium, was the drop to Jaden Reed. I still think it was a really tough catch.
I'm going to be honest with you. That ball hit him in the hands. I think he should have caught that, and I think he would tell you that he thinks he should have caught it.
I know it hit him in the hands, but going like fully horizontal with the field, that's we if he would have caught that, we'd have been like, man, that was a crazy catch. But now that he dropped it, we're saying
if we are talking about Jaden Reed the way that we have, I think that, like I said, I think that's a catch that I would say that he would say he should make.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't know. It is what it is. The Packers have to get more consistent on 3rd down, in my opinion, if they want to be serious, especially in the 3rd and medium area. I know the 4 through 7, that's always the area that everybody always points out on 3rd downs. 3rd and longs, you kind of don't expect to convert a lot of those, right? The defense has the advantage in that situation. 3rd and shorts, you should convert a lot of those because you're at an advantage. The 3rd and medium, almost like how you were talking last year about Jordan Love and his passing. If he gets the medium game going, that's almost where, the quarterback kind of gets going. That's where the offense can kind of, really churn out some drives and score a lot of points. I think 3rd and medium, I'm going to start focusing on that a little bit more. That's the area where I want them to improve the most the rest of the year.
That's one of those spots, too, where it's like it kind of gets harder to decide what to do as far as a play calling aspect. Because 3rd and short, you feel like you can pick it up anyway. 3rd and long, it's like almost obvious passing.
Mm-hmm.
But you get that 3rd and, like you said, 3rd of 4 and 7. It's like pass, run, pass, run, pass, run, play action, that it almost creates some indecision.
I think they need to do more bunch sets. We talk about all these wide receivers and weapons that we have. Bunch sets are so tough to guard. And we have the horses. You can mix up any combination of who you want in that bunch set, who you want at the top, who you want on the right. Just figure it out. I think bunch set is the way to go.
I mean, I think Watson, Wicks, and Dobbs would be a great bunch.
Oh,
You send Watson deep, you send Wicks on and out with his route running, and you send Dobbs across the middle.
yeah,
Good luck.
I agree.
And Kraft leaking out into the flat after those three vacate. Boom. JR said Kraft is a stud. We all agree.
Yes.
All right, looking at the red zone offense, Jake kind of got a little ahead by
Sorry.
saying the Packers are only 2 for 6 in the red zone. However, they would have been 3 for 6 in any other situation except for a last-minute situation and of a tie game.
That's fair.
So they would have been 3 for 6. Chris Brooks, in any other situation besides trying to run the clock out, would have scored a touchdown on that play. Now, they had 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals in the red zone and Jordan Love's interception, so they still got points on 5 out of 6 trips to the red zone. Would just like to see more of those converted into touchdowns instead of field goals. Now, 6 trips to the red zone. One of them starts a 3rd and 8 at the 19.5-yard line. They get a hands to the face, and that moves them up, which eventually gives them a fresh set of downs inside the red zone. But that first trip to the red zone ended in an interception. David said, I'm not for trading or losing Watson. Neither are we. I like having 4 guys that can be a wide receiver 1 any week.
And Watson's such a good run blocker, dude. It's hard to replace that.
So good at run blocking.
Yeah.
David said Brooks earns all the respect for that, though. I'm going to clip that play, and we are going to give him more respect for it as well. We're going to give him all the flowers for that.
Yeah.
Second trip to the red zone, they had a 1st and goal at the 3. Josh Jacobs got the touchdown, made that easy. The third trip, they were at the 9-yard line, had an illegal shift, which backed them up, had a throwaway, a 0-yard run, and a 2-yard screen, and a field goal. The fourth trip to the red zone started at 3rd and 7 at the 20-yard line. So a little bit of a trend here where they're getting into the red zone barely and then being on a late down situation already. So kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Second half, they get a 1st and goal at the 5 after Trevor Lawrence's fumble. They get a really good play call, and Tucker Kraft scores a touchdown. And then the 6th trip was the very end of the game. That was the kneel downs to set up the game-winning field goal. So again, like some of these trips, you're starting a 3rd down at the 20-yard line, but it technically counts as a red zone trip. And then the last trip was they were just killing the clock to run for the game-winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 for 6, in my opinion, looks a little misleading when you get into the context of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with Bryant's notes on Malik Willis and Jordan Love. He's got notes on Love. It says, I thought he was battling really hard. You could tell the injury on the first drive really affected him. I think if he can fully get into the throw, he doesn't have the interception. That's a fair point. He was approaching 200 yards in the first half, and that throw to Dobbs was some sicko stuff. Hopefully he can get back for this week because I believe even at about 85%, he gives us a better chance to beat the Lions. But Matt LaFleur needs to have a smart game plan. If he sits, it wouldn't surprise me either, but just super unlucky to have Love banged up for both of our home games against our main competition. Yeah, that is a bummer, but we'll see what happens. Darian said, I'm curious how good of a fit Jermaine Davis will be if he gets brought up from the practice squad. That is a very interesting signing, and I think I don't have a ton of thoughts on it immediately, but I would like to look into it more to see potentially what they could do with him, because I have an immediate thought, but I don't know if it's a good one right away. So I want to look into it more before I say it. David said, I was at the game and we were as loud as they were, and Go Pack Go filled the place. Who was it? Was it Christian Watson that said that this feels like a home away from home game?
Because he was mic'd up this week.
Love that. So good job, David. You were part of that. All right. Simon, how did you feel about Love and Willis?
Yeah, I thought he was okay. I thought
you can say what you feel. You can say that Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love. Say it. You know you want to.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of that already. I'm so sick of that already. And that's like no disrespect to Malik Willis, because like he's done an absolutely incredible job, and I have that in my notes as well. But I thought Love was okay. The interception was kind of bad, but I thought that was a good play by the defender more than it was like, oh, Jordan Love sucks. I don't know.
Yep.
My thoughts on it, obviously interceptions are never good, but it is what it is. I thought the offense kind of looked a little sluggish coming out of the gate. I feel like that's kind of a trend this season a little bit. Oh God. Yeah, I'll get right on that, bud. It's becoming a little bit of a trend this season. Just kind of having these slow starts by the offense. But outside of that, I thought they really started getting the ball rolling on offense. Love made some good reads, and he had almost 200 yards going up to the middle of the third quarter or so. So you're starting to pick them apart a little bit. That was kind of all I really had. Oh yeah, and unfortunately he broke his streak of 2 touchdown games, but I think that was due to injury. I think he would have thrown 2 touchdowns in the second half. He was kind of carving him a little bit in the second and going into the third quarters.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be able to suit up this week. Malik Willis, he does a good job of running this offense. And then finding Tucker Kraft on that really short field for a touchdown, and that Jaden Reed play was kind of dope. I don't know. I just kind of rewatched it to see what had happened, and it was like fake left where Jaden Reed kind of got swallowed up in the mess a little bit, and then just kind of beat one of the outside linebackers up the sideline, and he was wide open. So that was a good play call by Matt LaFleur. And then
they run a lot for tight ends and stuff. They try to get leak outs and stuff, and they're like, we're just going to do it with Jaden Reed.
It seemed like the same play call that happened in Dallas last year with Luke Musgrave.
Where
he was wide open up the sideline.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't as wide open as that, but he was pretty open. And then Malik Willis does. You do value his ability to scramble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll ever be as good, and I don't as good as Love is dissecting defenses and stuff. But when plays aren't there to be made, he'll make something happen with his legs. So you kind of value that a little bit.
Darian said at this rate, casual will be more convinced that there's a QB controversy in Green Bay.
Oh God.
Oh man, the casuals are the problem, Adarian. Man,
I saw someone say I think we should sign Malik Willis long term. I'm like, why would Malik Willis do that?
Yeah, Malik Willis is going to try to sign long term with the Raiders after this season.
Oh God,
they're going to get a 3rd-round compensation pick for him.
That'd be sick. I'd be all right with that.
Flip a 7th and turn into a 3rd-rounder. That'd be
awesome. Well, they'd have to trade him. They'd have to trade
a 4th, depending on how many more games he wins.
They'd have to trade Malik Willis because he's under contract till 2025.
Oh, sick! Then we have him next year.
Yeah, he's through next year.
Sweet. All right. David said he was moving us even before he was obvious, even though it was obvious. Don't do him like that, not the Raiders. Man, the Raiders need somebody at quarterback. He's better than what they have now.
They're drafting a quarterback in the 1st round.
Yeah, when they're in the top 5. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not going to get Dylan Gabriel, but that is what it is. David said he was moving us even though it was obvious that he was hobbled. He was trying to gut it out. I respect that. I mean, people talk about wanting people to play through injuries and stuff like that, and now the guy's trying to play through injuries, and they're like, just sit him, just sit him, just sit him. It's like, we can't keep having all this contradiction. You can't be like, oh, I want guys to play through injuries, and then there's a guy trying to play through an injury, and you're like, he's playing injured, just sit him down. Just concede the loss to the Lions and play Willis. If Jordan Love is 80% or better, he's playing.
Also, I don't really care what anyone else thinks. If medical clears him to play and he's like, I can play, and he plays, that's good enough for me.
Yep.
That's literally almost word for what I was going to say. If the fucking team doctor says, yeah, he can play, guess who's fucking suiting up? The guy who's getting the 2nd most money for quarterback position.
Also, I'm tired of seeing people look up injuries on Google or some shit.
Oh my God.
And then they automatically know how many weeks they're going to be out. First of all, not every injury is the same. Second, not everyone has they don't have the same access to physical therapy as everyone else does. And third, not everyone heals the same way.
Not everything is the same severity either.
Yeah.
Well, just think about Christian Watson when he got rolled up on from that bad pass. Everybody was like, "Oh,
Jordan
man,
Love, week 1, and people are like, oh my God, he's going to be out for the season. It popped. He's going to be out for the whole season. It popped.
yeah."
Like, people just got to wait. Nobody's going to know more than the team does.
Yep.
WebMD is statistically advanced, though.
I love looking stuff up on there when you have like a cold or something. And all of a sudden it's like, you have 3 weeks to live. It's like, God damn, I got a lot of shit I got to do yet.
Hell yeah.
I have this red bump on my arm. You think that's cancer?
Right.
Matthew said green and gold going to be bold. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they're playing a divisional game this week, too. It's not like they're playing the Jaguars or the Colts or Titans. I know, Bryant. I know it was you that said it popped. That's why I ignored you that day. But that's like, we as fans, podcasters, insiders, whatever, nobody's going to know more than the people that work for the Packers.
That's true.
You can claim conspiracy, or you can say that people don't know what they're doing, but those people know more than you.
Grab the tinfoil hats. Let's go.
Yeah. We should do that once. We should wear tinfoil hats on the show once. When there's
I'm
something
down.
like really interesting going on, come out with tinfoil hats and be like, guys, they're lying to us.
Dude, free agency next year. Let's do it. Finding everybody.
I hate that.
That would be so awesome. Justin said nobody's going to know. They're going to know. That would be hilarious, dude. All right. So my thoughts with Love and Willis. Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love on one leg.
Yes.
But not in a regular scenario.
True.
Willis has filled in great. Jordan Love is better than Willis. Both things can be true. That's what I have in my notes. Willis did well filling in. He was 4 for 5. Should have been 5 for 5. He made the call to change the play to the read play at the end of the game. So, like I said, Willis has filled in great. Jordan Love is better than Malik Willis. Malik Willis was looking to potentially be out of the league. We acquired him for a 7th-round pick. Like, that's where Malik Willis was before he was in Green Bay. So Jordan Love is the guy. If he, like I said, if he's 80% or better, like Simon said, if he's cleared, he's going to play. Matthew said Jordan Love is legit. He absolutely is. There's not people saying that he's in, neck and neck with CJ Stroud for who's going to be the next top 5 quarterback in the league. These conversations aren't happening about Malik Willis. As good as he's been and as helpful as he's been in relief of Jordan Love, he is not in those conversations. He is in conversations of guys that are going to get traded for a 7th-round pick to be somebody else's backup. We should just be thankful that he has filled in as admirably as he is.
Bastard.
All right. Matthew said Malik Willis is the stud backup. I'm going to let Jake go before I say anything else that he's got written down.
All right. So, a few things I want to say. First of all, 2 biggest questions coming into this season after the preseason: kicker, backup quarterback. We have fixed both of those spots.
Touche.
Backup quarterback, well, not anymore. I was going to say that we might have the best, but then I was going to say the Colts have the best backup quarterback, but now he's the starter because Anthony Richardson is
Anthony Richardson's probably still the best backup.
That's fair. He's probably also still tired, so he's not available. So I'll take Malik Willis.
Yeah, only if it's 3rd down.
Yeah, only if it's 3rd down. Malik Willis has been absolutely phenomenal in the role that he's been asked to play. He's done everything asked of Green Bay. This was a guy that was on the fringe of being on NFL roster at all after this year if it didn't work out. And he's come in.
He was definitely getting cut.
Oh yeah. Tom Clemens and Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and the quarterback room and the wide receivers and everybody has really accepted Willis as one of their own and really took him under their wing. And it's worked out great. He's been awesome. I have nothing bad to say about Malik Willis. He's a great guy, too, off the field. Just to add to the bonus of how good he's been on the field, he's a great guy off the field. Jordan Love is our starting quarterback. You can't tell me you didn't just watch the last 9 games last year and then see him throw a couple interceptions and be like, yeah, this guy might not be it. Now, here's what I want to say. I find it so goddamn hilarious that when you ask any person over 40 years old, would you rather take Favre or Rodgers? And not even a second thought, they all say Rodgers. They all say Favre. And why did they take Favre? They take Favre because he had heart. And he gave it all for his team. And he played through injuries and he gutted it out. And he was a gunslinger. Who the hell is our quarterback now? Our quarterback now is gutting it out. He's leading by example. He's a gunslinger. What the hell is the difference? That's the exact same guy. I'm sorry, but I find that so funny that everybody that criticizes Love for throwing an interception is the same one that would take Favre in an argument against Rodgers. I think we got spoiled by Aaron Rodgers. I think watching Aaron Rodgers throw 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions is fucking ridiculous, and people didn't respect it enough.
I agree.
So now that we have a quarterback that takes a couple chances, he makes some incredible throws. Don't get it twisted. Jordan Love makes some incredible reads and some incredible throws. Yep. He is an unbelievable arm talent, and he is unappreciated as an athlete, in my opinion. He was unappreciated by me going into last year. I was dead wrong about that.
Yeah,
but
that was a little too
if we're going to have an argument about Jordan Love and Malik Willis, if you have to sit down and have that thought process, I'm not talking more about football.
You need to watch more football. That's what I said to somebody on Twitter.
That's all I'm going to say. And I had like 15 to I think it's up to 17 now. 17 people react to a comment that I said, you don't know football, when I said that it should be Jordan Love because they think it should be Malik Willis. I now know 17 fucking dumbasses.
I mean, it could be people laughing at the original poster that are like laughing with.
No. They're laughing at my comment.
Oh,
they laugh at my comment.
You know that though. Just saying.
Justin, my kid's done with my motivational speeches, so I don't know how it'd work on high schoolers.
Justin said Willis is earning his money, playing up to what we expect, but he's not an elite QB like Love. That's fair. He said, I also love how Willis knows his role, is okay with it, is very humble. I like that as well. Bryant said Malik Willis is in Jeff Janis Packers legend territory. If he does something crazy in a playoff game, 1,000%.
I'm sorry, David. You're one of the smart ones.
Yeah, David said I was offended by the stereotype.
I'm sorry, David. I apologize to you. You're one of the few people over 40 that I know still has their brain and it's not up their goddamn ass.
Or that just doesn't want to call Aaron Rodgers a diva and, doesn't want to deal with his off-the-field.
I think we're out of cuss words for this episode.
Dude, Jordan Love Malik Willis things get me fired up, man. Can't handle it anymore.
Justin wants you to do motivational speeches. I would like to,
I think you could tone it down a little bit, though, especially in high schoolers.
No. Stop with the tone it down. We've toned it down enough for these goddamn freaking Gen Zers, okay? Maybe we need to tone it up.
Oh my god!
These people are about to make decisions in our country.
We need to start doing like midnight shows where we just go unhinged completely.
Oh, dude, you guys don't want to see that.
Caffeine, no sleep, some unhinged Wisco Fanatics after dark. Bryant said Love has the ability to throw people open. Malik Willis throws to the scheme to open players. That's fair. Darian said, I'm not worried about Jordan Love having numerous interceptions, as I understand him taking chances, and many of the interceptions aren't his fault. That is fair. Some of them aren't his fault. Some of them are his fault. Some of them are just some mechanical things. Some of them are timing and pressure. And some of it is him just trying to give his receivers chances to make plays. And I brought this up earlier this year that people used to say that they wanted Aaron Rodgers to try to take some more chances, to try to give his guys, some chances, some 50-50 balls, give his guys some chances to make plays. Jordan Love is doing that, and he has thrown some interceptions. And yes, he's thrown a couple bad ones, but not every single interception is a bad throw just because it ends as an interception. Justin said if Willis starts smoking ayahuasca, elite immortality. David said the amount of fools for Willis over Love is sad. I know Simon and I have seen a lot of one group full of pine cones.
Dude, back-to-back elite comments, bro. Back-to-back.
Willis on ayahuasca is elite immortality, and people wanting Willis over Love or pine cones.
Oh, elite.
I'm down for that. That's fair. I can see it. All right, let's go to the Lions preview. I'm going to read Bryant's notes for the defense. Bryant's notes for the defense say the linebackers need to do everything they can to slow down Montgomery and Gibbs and beat them to the spot, especially outside with Gibbs. The Lions average 5.1 yards per carry, and the running backs will be active in the passing game. Hopefully, Campbell does that stupid thing where he refuses to accept Gibbs' 6.4 yards per carry with a long of 70 is better than Montgomery 4.5 yards per carry with a long of 21. Aside from the running backs, Laporta is starting to come around, so they will have to be solid in coverage. As for blitzing, they better get home because Goff has been good against the blitz when kept clean, but does struggle under pressure. I could see us only bringing 4 a lot of the game, so we need our pass rushers to win some battles against a really good O-line. Mm-hmm. I'm going to jump in here because I have similar thoughts with the defensive line. So I need them wrapping up. Jahmyr Gibbs is 6th, and David Montgomery is tied for 13th in missed tackles forced. Through 8 games on the defensive line, Enagbare has played 220 snaps. Carl Brooks has played 215 snaps. TJ Slayton has played 198 snaps, and Kenny Clark has played 356 snaps. Those 4 players have 3 missed tackles each. That many snaps, and those guys have only missed 3 tackles.
Wow.
Devontae Wyatt, or sorry, not Devontae Wyatt. Lucas Van Ness has played 208 snaps. Rashawn Gary has played 329 snaps. Those 2 only have 2 missed tackles each.
Very nice.
Colby Wooden has played 83, and Devontae Wyatt has played 158. Those 2 each have 1 missed tackle. Mm-hmm. And Preston Smith has played 281 defensive snaps. He has 0 missed tackles.
He's a stud. He's reliable.
He's really a really consistent outside linebacker / defensive end.
Yeah.
So looking at Jared Goff, he gets rid of the ball really well. Only 13.8% of blitz pressures end in sacks against him. However, 28.3% of non-blitz pressures end in sacks on Jared Goff. So there's definitely something to Brian's point on only sending 4. And if it is just the 2 outside linebackers / DNs and 2 defensive tackles rushing the quarterback, if those guys are able to generate pressure, that is not good for Detroit. I'm going to come back to some similar things when I get to some later segments. Justin said Justin Smith in pass coverage again last week. Everybody's going to drop back once in a while. You'll see it once in a while. Kenny Clark will drop back away from the line of scrimmage. They do it to just mix things up.
I was going to say, go watch that Xavier McKinney sack against Houston. Look who drops back on that play. D lineman.
They do it to mix things up. And it's sometimes it's just to take away the middle of the field for the running backs and tight ends. It's just to mix things up. Okay. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Lions offense?
I think you guys hit most of it. I think as far as like the Lions O-line goes, the left side of their offensive line is probably their weakest. So Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow have given up 30 pressures and 7 sacks this season. The rest of their right side of the offensive line is just studs, including the center. So looking at that left side is probably where we're going to get a good amount of pressure. And then I think you guys kind of hit the rest of it. Jared Goff's been absolutely insane on play action this year. So getting the running game, getting their running game to not a lot of yards and carries is going to be crucial this game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like just being overall disciplined in your gaps and stuff and players. Because, like, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Lions offense. They're running some weird bullshit. Like, it's just crazy stuff. Lining linemen outside. David Montgomery throws for a touchdown to Sam Laporta, who has, I think 1 on the year before this game. Like, they're doing some weird shit. And I think a lot of it is because they're up a bunch and they can try some stuff. But, I mean, Ben Johnson's he's an amazing play caller. So he's gonna really bring it up this week.
He's getting ready to coach the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, we are on the same wavelength with that, dude.
What the?
Settle down.
Alaska. Guy, he almost got
Get
you.
invaded by Russia. It's happening.
I don't know how my computer tweaked out.
It's the invasion.
Yeah. Get my
Either that or
tinfoil
a moose
hat.
ran by and stomped over your house or something. I don't know.
No. I haven't seen a moose in my neighborhood yet.
Other than the one that you have tied out up front.
Yes.
James said, "Hey guys, my birthday is tomorrow." Nice.
No,
Hopefully
happy
we'll see
birthday.
some comments tomorrow then. Justin said, "If I see Dan Skipper lined up at wideout against us, I'm turning my TV off."
He's got to report as eligible. Too soon?
No, they got their revenge over Dallas. I think
Yeah, they did. Nice.
Justin made a comment before too about maybe the Packers should hand the ball off to a lineman.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine we do that against the Bears?
Oh man. That's one of those things where like you do that when you're up like 35,
Yeah.
like that, not when it's a 15-12 game.
I couldn't believe that call.
I could. It was the Bears, dude.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. It's
Couldn't have happened to a
not
better team.
smart. Yeah, true.
Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Lions offense?
Okay, so a few things. So in terms of red zone, Lions are they're an insanely good offense everywhere on the field. So I'm gonna have the Packers aim for like 50%. So I'm like a 2 for 4 or a 3 for 6. We gotta force some field goals. In terms of third down, the Lions convert 42.86% of their third downs. That is 7th in the NFL. Packers are allowing 32.97. That is tied for 9th in the NFL. So strength against strength there. Third down is going to be a very key down. In terms of pass rush, the Packers average 2.6 sacks per game. And Goff gets sacked at 2.6 times per game, which is 15th in the NFL. So I'm going to be looking for maybe that number to equal out here, and maybe we get them 2-3 times this game, and that could be the difference in the game, especially if some of those happen on third downs. Last thing I wrote down here is I think in the first half, maybe even going deep into the third quarter, I thought the Packers did a really nice job against the Jaguars in the last couple of weeks of gang tackling, multiple Packer helmets.
Yeah.
Going towards the ball carrier, so they can't get many opportunities for rack or yak or whatever goddamn acronym you want to use, right? The Lions have track stars if we don't wrap up. They have legit track stars. Jahmyr Gibbs is nobody to mess around with. You miss a tackle on that guy, he might go 70 to the house.
Yeah.
Who they have? Who's that guy? Raymond. He's a fast guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a strong, fast dude. I mean, Sam Laporta is a strong dude, but he's also very quick for a tight end. These guys got speed. They got speed everywhere. They are young. The Packers and Lions rivalry is about to be real over the next decade. Two of the youngest, most talented rosters in the NFL, in my opinion.
I don't know about a decade. I'll say half decade.
I will agree with you on that. I was actually having a discussion at work about the Lions. I said, Lions front office and fans are about to find out how hard it is to be consistently good.
Yeah.
And that's where I looked up this stat. The Lions are on a 5-game win streak. Packers are on a 4-game win streak. Lions are actually favored at Lambeau this week, which is crazy. This is the first time the Lions are 6-1 since 1956. Eisenhower got reelected as the president. He was the 34th American president. That was 12 presidents ago. They get 4 years at a crack. That's a long-ass time. That's 13 years before my parents were born. My parents. And I'm a 30-year-old man.
18 years before my parents were born.
That's insanity. So just wanted to point that out. Lions haven't been good for a long time, but I think this Lions-Packers rivalry is about to heat up a lot in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Looking at the special teams, Brian's notes on special teams, doesn't really have anything written down there. Just looking at what he wrote from the previous game, just exactly how you want it, a game where they don't have to talk about it. So if they're not making mistakes, you won't hear about it. That's really all you can ask for.
Yep.
James said, I saw a funny comment. A person with everybody wants to see the Lions win now, but if they start racking up Super Bowls, the NFL community will hate them and call it conspiracy. The pains of being on top is real.
We know how that feels.
Before we start doing the conspiracy thing, and I know it's people saying that it's the Lions, not you, James, but I got to get farther than the NFC Championship game before we start claiming that things are getting rigged for them.
Get that tinfoil hat ready.
Yeah. Justin said salary cap's going to come into effect real soon. Yeah. Once they start having to pay guys like Penei Sewell, and obviously
Hutchinson's going to get paid from them too, and he's not going to take a deal. He's going to want to get paid.
Penei Sewell already got paid.
So.
Yeah,
Penei Sewell got paid this last offseason.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, 4-year, 112.
Golf, yeah.
All right. Looking at the coaching part of it, I trust Matt LaFleur to game plan for either quarterback. We've seen him do it for both. The bigger part of the coaching that I'm really focused on is Hafley's plan for Detroit's offense. I'm looking for pressure on Goff. His turnover-worthy play percentage when clean is 2.8%. That's extremely low. But when under pressure, his turnover-worthy play percentage goes up to 5.1%. So in 135 attempts when kept clean, he has 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. In 54 attempts when under pressure, he has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Okay.
So, again, pressure bodes well for the Packers. Jared Goff can be forced to turn the ball over.
Yep. Oh, we saw that last year.
Put a pin in that. Looking at the offense, Bryant's notes on the offense against the Lions defense says without Hutch, the Lions pass rush is struggling a lot, and Green Bay needs to make sure it stays that way. I do think the way to victory in this game is running the ball and controlling the clock, and our offensive line will be key in that. Lions are top 5 in rush yards against, but that is more of a product of being ahead as they allow 4.7 yards per carry. That's a really good point. Their secondary is like ours in a way that they give up yards, but they live off the turnover. They probably have the best safety room in the league, maybe second best. And they have combined for 9 interceptions. The rest of the team only has 1. I think to beat this team, we need to dial up a dink and dunk game plan and throw outside. Also, hopefully, Kirby Joseph can get through this game without being a dirty clown, but not likely.
That definitely something Bryant would say.
I'm on his side. Kirby Joseph is dirty. You're not going to convince me otherwise. He's injured like 3 people already.
Did you ever see the video of Matt Stafford going up to him?
He called him a dirty.
Yeah. He said, "Hey, what's up, man? You're a dirty player. You know it. You're a dirty player. You know it." Yeah, right in front of the ref too.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
All right. Brian also said the wide receivers need to be prepared to block a lot, and when they get a reception, protect the ball, as Detroit has punched it out 6 times this year.
Interesting. Nice notes.
Justin said we cannot have the unnecessary penalties this game. They got better after the early 3 penalties that they had in the O-line. They only ended up with 4 total, and none in the second half and none in the defense.
Yep.
Justin said I could see Joseph pulling a Tyreek Stevenson this week.
Here's the hoping.
That'd be so sick.
Here's the hoping.
Awesome,
It'd be amazing. For me, looking for the passing game distribution to keep the ball spread around, spread the ball, spread the defense, make it harder for Detroit to be able to key on one aspect of the game. As far as the red zone is concerned, the Green Bay Packers, their touchdown percentage is 50%. At home, it's 64.3%. The Lions allow 47.4%. On the road, they're only allowing 25%.
Who the hell they played on the road?
I don't even remember. But looking at it, if the Packers get 5 or 6 attempts, if they converted 3 of them into touchdowns, I would be happy. If they convert 3 for 6 and they're 50%, I'd be happy with that. If they get 3 for 5, I'd be very happy. Here, I got it for you. I don't know who is all their road games, but I am not moved by the Lions' schedule. So far this year, they beat the Cardinals by 7, that the Packers beat 34-13. They beat the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, and the Vikings by 2, the same score that the Packers lost to the Vikings despite being down 28-0. They won 31-29. So, and then they beat the Titans. And I'm not surprised by the Lions beating the hell out of the Titans.
No, that game was terrible.
Yeah. The Packers will be the best team that they've faced. I understand the Vikings beat the Packers, but that was Jordan Love's first game after his MCL injury, and the Packers still almost came back and won that game. You know, I'm not going to go as far as to say if the Packers had a kicker, they win that game, because I believe that if kicks are made in that game, it changes things. So I'm not going to go and say the Packers would have won the game with McManus, but The fact of the matter is they were down 28-0 and had a chance to win.
Yep.
That's the fact. So I do believe that the Packers are the best team that the Lions will have seen so far this year.
They get to see them twice. What a treat for us.
Yeah. Well, and we get to see the Vikings again, so we get to get a little get back there. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers offense against the Lions defense?
Bryant literally had every single note that I had, so good on him. I'm not gonna rehash stuff.
All right.
Except for the Kirby Joseph thing. I didn't have that in mind, but I agree.
I would have understood if you did. Jake, what are you looking for from the offense against their defense?
Yeah, I'm really looking at the third downs. I think they're going to be massive, as they always are. Packers are converting 38.95% of third downs. That's 15th, pretty squarely in the middle of the league. And the Lions are only allowing 30.67% of third downs. That is first in the NFL. So they get you off the field in 3 downs or less. And then their offense pulls some funky, junky stuff where the lineman is doing backflips and flipping it back to Jared Goff, who throws it 52 yards. And then before you know it, you're like, what the hell just happened? So we're going to have to sustain drives, convert a lot of third downs, and keep the offense off the field.
The other thing I'm going to say on the special teams, they had a punt return touchdown last week as well. You mentioned Khalif Raymond when we were talking about the offense for the Lions. He's really good in the return game as well. And I think that's something we probably should have maybe spent a little bit more time on with the Jaguars game. Parker Washington was having a very, very, very good year in the return games. And the Packers, they kept that bottled up.
Yeah, they did.
They shut that down. It's not even like they allowed, a couple of big returns here or there, but no touchdowns. Like, they shut Parker Washington down.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully more of that to come. Bryant's notes on injuries. The injuries that we know of to keep an eye on right now are Love, Myers, Jair, Jacobs, and Williams. Sounds like most of those will come back clean, but doesn't necessarily mean they'll be ready for the weekends. The Lions will be without Juice Williams and Aiden Hutchinson. So looking at first we're going to go to Jake. Jake for the weather.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the weather's not going to be as nice as it was today because we got to treat people that live in Wisconsin. It was a beautiful day. It's going to be a really nice day tomorrow as well. So get outside with your kids and enjoy the weather because it's going to be turning into fall pretty soon. Weather report November 3rd. Rain showers in the morning, becoming a steady light rain in the afternoon. High around 57 degrees. Wind southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 60%.
I bumped that up by 9.
I know, dude. I was thinking it.
Justin said someone said they have a trick play where Dan Campbell comes in at tailback. I bet he wishes they did.
I'm like this close to being over the Dan Campbell shit, bro.
I'm already over it.
The Applebee's commercial, I was like, cringy. I'm over it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm over it. Looking at matchups, Bryant's matchup is the the running back rooms. I think the team that has the better performance from that room will win the game.
I like that, actually.
It's a very interesting point. My matchup to watch is Detroit's offensive line versus the Green Bay Packers defensive line. I think this is where the game is going to be won. Jake, what's your matchup over there nodding your head?
Wait, I have the same as you do.
Nice.
I'm very close to that. My matchup is the battle with the line of scrimmage. On both sides of the ball. Both sides of the ball. You got to win the line of scrimmage. This is going to be, we call ourselves the black and blue division. This is going to be a black and blue game.
All right. Well, I mean, if we're saying the same things, it really, to me, when that happens, it just serves as a point of emphasis. If more of us are thinking the same things, it just, like I said, it really goes to show the points of emphasis. Like, I like it when we all have different ones and it makes, for conversation, but when we have a game like this and we are bringing up the same things, that just highlights the importance of it. Justin said our linebackers versus Laporta. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Bryant's X factor is Matt LaFleur. If Love plays, have a smart game plan to get rid of the ball quick, but take calculated shots. If it's Malik, I hope we see a lot more RPOs. That's interesting. My X factor is Rashawn Gary. If he has a big game again, Green Bay will beat Detroit again. You remember last year the Packers played the Lions, Detroit. Rashawn Gary had 3 sacks, and I believe 2 of them he forced fumbles on.
1 return for a touchdown.
That is true. All right. Jake, who's your X Factor?
I went with Josh Jacobs.
Me too.
Regardless of
Simon,
who's at
for score
quarterback,
predictions, I'll go to you first.
we're gonna need the old line to block. We're gonna need Josh Jacobs. I've been talking about third downs. I came into the year. I was very high in the Josh Jacobs signing. I was like, he's going to be a horse on third downs, horse in the red zone. I'm looking for us to have Josh Jacobs put us on our back and carry us to the win and a lot of first downs on Sunday.
Justin said we need Bane to come out again. That would be huge for the Packers. All right. Well, Simon, you said your X Factor is also Josh Jacobs. All right. Well, I'll go to you first for score predictions then. Simon, give me your score prediction from the head.
I don't like this, but I think the Lions are just riding us super high right now. I have them winning 30-27.
Okay.
I have the Lions winning 27-24. To me, a big part of it relies on the health of our quarterback.
Yeah, that's part of my that's part of mine too.
Justin
It's
said
hard to
Simon
say.
did copy everyone else's notes this week. I did have Simon's notes earlier today. I didn't read them, but I had them.
What is Brian's score from the head?
Brian's is 20-17 Packers. He said I won't pick against them ever.
That's fair. So the Lions rush defense is 5th in the NFL. They give up 101.9 per game. The pass defense 247.6. They are 27th in the NFL.
They're actually giving up a lot of yards.
That shows me
that's skewed.
There. And if Malik Willis can play a clean game, if he's the starter, Malik Willis has been playing clean football. If he plays a clean game, and he is going to add to that rushing total, he's definitely going to be a factor in the rushing game. We know that. If he hits the passes that are there, like the one to Reed last week at the end of the game, I have Green Bay winning 33-29.
Ooh.
Brian said I might not be superstitious, but I am a little stitious. All right.
God,
Simon, what's your score prediction from the heart?
I have us winning 27-24.
All right. Justin said from the head 28-24 Lions, heart 24-21 Packers, and another McManus.
That'd be so sick.
It's already the script writers already went crazy giving him a game winner in the first game that he kicked, and then the second game against his former team. I don't know if the script writers have it in them to draw up another McManus game winner.
Why not? McGame winner, dude. That's his new name.
Game winner. All right, if that happens, I'll make a graphic that says Mick Game winner. Put that out into the ether.
I like it.
Brian's score from the heart is 27-20 Packers.
Ooh, okay.
All right, ready for mine? Mine's a little spicy.
All right.
This is obviously predicated on Love being healthy, but from the heart, I have 35-23 Packers.
You have what?
35-23.
Golly. Who died? Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Golly.
So I brought up the turnover numbers and him under pressure.
I have almost a similar score. Pretty close. I have 35-27 Green Bay.
I hope our scores happen. Brian said not to toot my own horn, but I called them. So you're writing the scripts, Brian.
Oh, wow.
Who's wearing the tinfoil hat now?
A little suspicious over there.
Yeah.
Called them, as in...
he called the NFL. Yeah.
He said yes.
Yes.
All right. Simon says, I'm going to read Bryant's. He has offense written first. Offense, he says, if Malik starts, holy shit. If Malik starts, Packers rush for 225 plus. If Love starts, they rush for 175 plus.
Jeez, 225. Did we even run? What was it versus Colts? It was like 200 and something, right? We ran the ball like 50 times.
Let me see.
I mean, we went crazy in the first half and did nothing in the second half, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. Right? We're pretty. Hell yeah.
All right, he's down. By game.
Wait, what's Jared Goff's ADOT this year?
Hold on, I'm looking at the Packers rushing against the Colts.
It was like two something.
261.
So what was it 225?
He said 225. Yeah. God damn, Josh Jacobs had 32 for 151 in that game.
If we don't get into a negative game script, I think I could see that. But
and Malik Willis had 41 rushing yards that game. Jaden Reed had 37 rushing yards that game.
Yeah.
All right. I see that. Simon says McKinney gets another interception, and we have 2 forced fumbles on defense.
Hell yeah, give me that.
I
mean, we've had a decent amount of fumbles this year. Forced, I mean.
That's true. Brian said the scriptwriter told me the Jaw gets another pick 6 this week.
Oof. Jared Goff's ADOT is like one of the worst in the league, actually.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
He doesn't throw the ball down the field a ton. He is 23rd in the league, tied for 23rd in the league.
Doesn't have to. I'm telling you, he throws the ball to the guys, and the guys are so damn fast they run past everybody.
So he's JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
So other people that have the same ADOT, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones has a better ADOT.
Ooh. All right, so I'm down for some press man coverage this week.
Yeah.
How many fumbles
Sorry,
do
got off.
and Gibbs have this year? Probably not many.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up right now. Gibbs has
1,
0,
yeah.
and Montgomery has 1.
Yep.
1 total. Yes.
That means Jared Goff's going to fumble both on strip sacks, so it's cool.
Yep, that makes sense to me. My offensive, Simon says, is the Packers are first team to score 30-plus on Detroit this season, which I had in my...
I could see that. I think that's very possible, and it's a home game, so I feel pretty good about that one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Justin said on offense, Dobbs has 2 touchdowns, and Jacobs has 100-plus rushing.
Dobbs has 2 touchdowns. Depends on who's playing quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback.
If Malik Willis is playing quarterback, it's hard to imagine Dobbs getting 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, Jake, what do you got for offense?
Josh Jacobs will have more touchdowns and total yards than Montgomery and Gibbs combined.
God, dude.
Fucking love it. Love it.
As soon as you started that sentence, I knew where you were going with that. I knew where you were going with it.
I was like, say combined.
Combined.
Dang, that's hard.
It's not happening, but I would love it.
I would love that, but I don't think it's happening.
Montgomery and Gibbs are the offense.
They're so good. Both of them are just good.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad that I was right about Gibbs because I was just like in love with him in the draft process, and then he went to the Lions, and I was like, I hate this. I hate that I was right about this. God damn it.
Brian said if that happens, I don't know how we could lose. I mean, it would have deep passes, but according to
I think if that happens, like I don't think we lose the game.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be on the field very much. We'd be in the field the whole time.
That was like when I was thinking about what our offense could do. That was like the biggest thing is if we keep Jared Goff and the Lions and we get a couple like third down stops early and we go up by a couple touchdowns, I think we have a very good chance of winning this game.
Oh yeah,
I know that sounds stupid, but like I'm not putting Jared Goff in a situation where he has to dig out of a huge hole is what caused Tampa Bay to win. I don't know if you watched that game. Jared Goff threw the ball like 50 sometimes. Like that's not a recipe for a win for the Lions.
I mean, you look at the game the Packers last year, the Packers jumped out ahead.
What's that?
Same thing. They forced when the Packers jumped out ahead last year in the Thanksgiving game. They forced Jared Goff into having to throw more, and he made a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah, if they're at equal or positive game script, the Lions are a very good team.
Brian
but
said they're for sure.
Yeah. If they're in a negative game script and you're forcing Jared Goff, they scored 16 points that game, by the way, on 50. I think it was 3. Don't quote me. I have to go back and look. I think it was like 53 throws, and I think Jared Goff only had 1 touchdown too.
Jared Goff was 34 for 55 with no touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Oh, no touchdowns. Oh yeah. So yeah, if we get an early lead on them, I could see it being very tough for Detroit to win or like come back from it.
Dude, that's the Buccaneers defense who just getting carved up by Kirk.
Yeah,
Cousins.
they're getting carved.
Yeah, and Bryant brought up a good point. He was not sacked that game either. There was 19
Oh,
pressures,
wow.
but he was not sacked.
Hmm.
All right. Bryant's defense, Simon says, is the Packers hold the Lions to less than 20 points.
Get the fuck out of here. I have the same one. No joke. I didn't look at Brian notes or anything. Who was it said you can just say you looked at their
You
notes?
just roll over and tell it to him this morning.
Yeah.
You guys sat next to each other.
I swear to God, I didn't. That's
they hold
funny.
hands while they write their notes together, dude.
There's no way. That is literally because I only do one every week. That's so funny. Yeah, I have the same one. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Your
I'm
reaction to that tells me that you genuinely have that. Brian said Simon will be sick next week.
Maybe you shouldn't have coughed on me.
Nasty.
That's funny as hell.
Right, it'll only be me and you then, because Tyler won't be.
Yeah, I won't be here next week either. So, all right, mine on defense. Rashawn Gary replicates his 3-sack game with a fumble.
I like it. You've been calling for it. You're speaking it into.
I want Rashawn Gary to be so good.
I got my notes all themed, like it's all together. It all like works, cohesive, and the stats are there. Like,
yeah,
I put the research in. Justin said he'll only be sick from eating so much. That all depends on the army.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dick, what's yours on defense?
I kind of eat a lot, but
I have Xavier McKinney has a sack, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Since he's the only player in the NFL to do all three of those this year, anyway. So,
and he's doing it all in one game. All right.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Well, he became the only player a couple weeks ago when he did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So he's gonna do it again.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm down.
Interesting.
Dude, we are literally getting Charles Woodson reincarnated. Just so everybody understands, he's going to be the defensive player of the year.
He should be.
Just like 2009.
His name's not even in the hat right now.
This is ridiculous.
By I'm sorry. What I mean by that is, in my mind, he is, but like by media standards, I don't feel like he's getting a bunch of love.
I'll tell you this, man. If he comes out and balls out against the Lions, the Packers are going to go on bye, and then if he comes out and he balls out against the Bears and gets an interception in both games, and the Packers win both games, they're first in the division, he'll start getting talked about.
Yeah.
Justin said he'd put $5 on that 3-leg McKinney parlay. I mean,
Penny Sewell's been absolutely disgusting this year.
For what?
Penny Sewell. He's allowed 7 pressures this year.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he's good.
Like he's been a stud.
You know who could really use a guy like that?
The Bears.
Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, them too.
Could have drafted him.
I mean, Jamar Chase is playing good ball too.
Yeah. You can't really argue with Jamar Chase. He's pretty good.
I mean, both play. They didn't go wrong, is what I would say.
Team be over the last 2 years if Joe Burrow could play all the games.
No, that's true too.
That would definitely help.
Just saying. All right, Simon, what do you got? Anything you want to throw out there?
That was my one.
All right, Bryant robbed your thunder. Well, next week, if Bryant sends you any notes or sends us any notes, I will let you read Bryant's notes, and then you can just choose if you want to read yours first or Bryant's first. Jake, next week you can read my notes last. I'll send you my notes. You can read my notes last, just so that if anybody has anything that I already said, then Simon can say his first before you read mine.
Yeah.
Justin said Simon says Caleb Williams goes on a media tantrum after losing this next game and starts crying.
Oh my god.
Dude, I thought he was gonna actually cry after that Hail Mary. I'm being serious. I was like, dude, he's looking for his mama. He's looking for his mama.
He did throw like a mini tantrum.
He did
on the sideline.
I thought he was gonna cry for a second.
It's from Friday when he's like, oh, he's gonna cry in the car. Man, my grandmama gave me that chain. He's gonna cry in the car. Gave that energy. All right, like Justin said, go Pack, go. We will see you guys next week. I won't be here next week again. Just my wife's having surgery next Wednesday, so I will be off next week. But I will still send my notes to Jake, so I will still be here in word form, just not in physical form. So go Packers, and we will see you guys next week.